Now that the mouse body is shelled, it's time to split the body. With our two splitting lines, we will use these to split the body. This can be a little bit error prone. These lines, want to make sure they go all the way through the mouse. You want to check and see that there's no big conflicts here that would cause any problems. And sometimes it takes a couple of tries to get this. So I'm going to go ahead and go Modify, Split Body. You can start with your mouse body, that's the body to split, and then your splitting tool. You can select the bottom or the top line. I recommend starting with the line that is closest to the center. That'll give you usually the best results. Click on that, say OK. If that worked, if it gives you an error, go back and redraw your lines, or you can try the top line or bottom line, whichever one you haven't done yet. And sometimes it will work. The order of operation is important. I want to split this again. It's going to turn my sketch body back on. I'm say Modify, Split Body. Here's my body to split. It's now at the top of the mouse. The splitting tool is this line here. And say OK. So now I have the bottom of the mouse, and I should label that appropriately. Double click. Call it the bottom or the base. I've got the center, and I have the top. Now with the center, I'm going to turn my sketch off, I don't need those anymore. With my center body, I can right click and say copy, and then right click and say paste. If I simply say OK, they'll paste in the exact same place. So now I've got two center and center 1 located right on top of each other. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the first center and the base. So I just have the top and the first center. I'm going to use a tool. I'm going to use the Modify, Press and Pull tool. I'm going to grab all of the interior faces of this middle. Here. So 4 faces, 4 selected. And then select an offset. If it goes the wrong direction, you can do a negative. Now my shell was 2 millimeters, and so to really make this work and have the two mouse pieces come together, you might want to give it a little bit of margin, so minus 1.1. A little bit extra so they actually fit together. Say OK. Now there are 2 pieces, but it's all the top, so I can go ahead and say Modify, Combine. I'm going to pick the top first, so it picks that name, and then the tool bodies, the second piece, and I change this from cut to join. Say OK. So let's check this. I've got the top piece, and what I did wrong, it looks like I still have the tool piece remaining. So let me undo that. Show you what I did here. Undo Combine. Modify, Combine. I click the top part, and I click the bottom part. I say Join, that's correct, but I had the Keep Tools checked. I want to uncheck that. I only want one piece when I'm done. Go ahead and say OK. And this time you see it's just the top. So that's important to remember. Uncheck that Keep Tools. So there's the top. Good time to save. You can go ahead and turn that off now and turn on the base and the other center. Now this time I want to say Modify, Press and Pull. And I can go around and select the 4 faces on the outside. One thing to note here, if it says Automatic, it might be difficult to select all the faces I want to, and if that's the case, change this to New Offset, and you should be able to select all 4 faces. Now the distance again, we did 2 millimeters thick on our body. I can do 1 millimeter. I'll make it negative so it goes in. And I'll add a little bit of margin. And that should work. Maybe I don't need to add the margin if I added it on the first piece, so I could just do 1 this time. This is a design problem for you to work through as you're going through this. Go ahead and say OK. Now I need to do the combine command again. Again, I want to pick the piece first. I want to keep its name, so the base. And then I want to click on the center. I want to join these, and I don't need to keep the tools. I'm going to say OK. And now I've got the base and the top. Now they should fit together. Let's go ahead and turn them both on. And we can do what's called an inspection analysis and a section analysis. It asks me which face do you want to cut the section at. Turn my origin on so I can select this vertical plane and look at the result of what I've done. If I've done it correctly, the two pieces should overlap with a little bit of margin. Now there's some more work you can do to make this more realistic. Of course, you could add a rib here and some other things to make these fit together well. But this is what we're going to do for this assignment. What we're going to finish this off with are some fillets. So I'm going to turn off the top. I'm going to go Modify, Fillet, add a fillet along this edge. Then I'll turn on my top, Modify, Fillet, turn them both on to see the result, and there I go. I've got a top and a bottom that can slip into each other.